Yes, we are all so glad that you are here. Amy, are you kicking us off?
No,
Or
you can't. Go for
Oh,
it.
okay. We are
Yeah.
so glad that you're here. If you are joining us for the first time, Rocket Fuel is open to everyone, broker agnostic. We get together same time every Monday, and we always bring an awesome speaker that's here to fire you up and fuel your business. And how many of you guys have like large goals this year? I know a lot of you guys are high performers on this
Mm.
call, but sometimes we get off track. Yeah. And so most people, I think, do not struggle with what to do, how to do things, right? They struggle because they like don't have the discipline, they're not consistent, and they don't focus for long enough. How many of you guys know that agent that's always distracted, going from class to and just never executes, right? And this is why I'm so excited to bring our special guest today, Elias Astuto, who lives in the execution lane. He is the director of sales and coaching for Team Fast, one of the top performing teams in our industry. Last year, they closed 870 units. Yes, 870 with a sales volume of almost 700 million. And I believe it's because it's the standards and the discipline and the training that they provide their agents. So Elias doesn't just coach theory, he builds top producers fast. And what better way for him to kick us off this Monday morning? So if you're ready to get fired up, get some discipline, and get a framework, if you guys have seen the promo video, this conversation is going to be for you. So welcome, Elias.
Wow. Well, I appreciate you, Coach, and thanks for having me. I see some familiar faces, but what I'm most excited about is I'm excited for all the faces that I don't know, right? This business is all about building community, building networks, and building bonds and brotherhoods and sisterhoods. And so, from the bottom of my heart, I'm very, very grateful to be here in this space with you guys. And my hope is this. My hope is that you take one thing that you can apply in your life, business, health, and relationships from our time together. That's it, just one. And I do have to say this, Raquel, if it was anybody other than you, I would not have been okay with today because my wife is pregnant and I am 46 years old. I know you guys look a lot younger. I'm 46 years old. We have an anatomy appointment, but I don't miss any appointments. But this one I had to miss because we are here. But if it was anybody else, Raquel, I would have gotten in trouble. And so I'm so glad to be here. She understood. She's like, oh, okay, Raquel, it's okay. Go do your thing. So she just left right now. I got an I love you, babe. I'll see you later. But
I
I also
Oh,
appreciate you.
I
And
also bought her.
Amanda.
I bought her a vehicle over the weekend, so I said, "Let's go have an amazing.
you have
Just
some
send me
brownie
pictures."
points. You have
Yeah,
brownie points.
exactly. So I have a little bit of credit right now, so I'm going to write on that. But nonetheless, you guys, I'm fired up, ready to go. So coming to you, grateful, coming to you, full of excitement and full of energy. Before I get started with any of my framework, and before I get started with what I want to share with you guys, I have some additional thoughts before I get rolling. And I want to say this with all due respect. You see, I've been in sales since 1998, and it's been a long journey. And I don't know anything else other than being in sales, being a public speaker. This is what I've done my entire life. I was 18 years old in 1998. There's never been another profession that I've been in. And so when you think back of like the analog days of sales versus the digital world of sales that we're in today, obviously there's different pathways for us to learn. There's different tools. We've seen this, not evolution. I guess this evolution and revolution of AI in our space over the last few years. You see, that's all important and that should help you to amplify your messaging, help you with your systems, help you with operational efficiencies. And I'm all for it. But here's what I want to encourage us all to do. What I want to encourage everybody to do is to restore the dignity of being great salespeople. You see, oftentimes I speak to salespeople from coast to coast or agents from coast to coast, and they're fearful of being a salesperson. You see, a great salesperson knows how to connect, they know how to communicate effectively, and they know how to set logical next steps in the sales process. You see, I think oftentimes we associate being a salesperson negatively, and I want to restore the dignity of being a great salesperson. If done effectively and done it right and done it properly, what happens is that you create amazing, amazing relationships. Now, if you don't do it right, and if you do it the way that is unsavory, yes, then you're going to have bad relationships. You're going to leave a bad
Starting.
impression on people. Kathy, if we can get her muted, thank you, Kathy. You're going to leave a bad impression on people. You see, in the United States of America, the consumer rating for realtors is super low. Why? Because we don't do a great job on the follow up. We don't set logical next steps. We don't over communicate. We leave room for guessing. You see, in the absence of clear communication, people form stories, and it happens all the time. Consumers form their stories. And so, what I want us to do is, I want us to think about everything that we're doing from a sales perspective. And yes, I believe in sales. I am a great salesperson, and I believe in the dignity of being a great salesperson. But here's what I want you guys to do. As I analyze this quite often, what I want you to do over the course of the next 30 days is I want you to start analyzing your body of work. And here's where you start. First and foremost, if you are a leader on this call, or if you are on a team, if you are going into any type of sales, presentation, whether it's a listing presentation or a buyer presentation, here's what I want you to evaluate. I want you to evaluate how you or how the people in your environment are asking for the next steps. And I'll give you something for context here. Let's just say a buyer consultation, right? You're at a showing. What'd you think about the home on a scale from 1 to 10? We thought about it as a 10. Why so high? It's a 2. Why so low? Whatever the consumer says. At that point, you are at a crossroads to then book a buyer consultation. So my question to you and the people in your environment is, what does their body language say about their confidence to take that consumer to the next level? I had this experience the other day. I was with an agent, and as soon as I asked her to tell me about how she sets up the buyer consultation, I saw this happen. This shoulder, it dipped just a little bit. It dipped just a little bit. And this arm, it went here. And instantly, I know she was in a pressure cooker because she was with me, but her body language shrunk in the moment. She didn't get tall. Her shoulders didn't go back. Her chest didn't go out. Her head didn't go up. She shrunk in that moment. And so what happens is that we're looking at her conversion to actually get a buyer consultation, but that number's super low. And that was one thing I want you guys to evaluate is your physiology and your body language. When you're asking a consumer to go to that next step with you, what does your posture say about that? And these are the small little things, the nuances that will make a huge impact. And there's a book out there I want you guys to get. This book is written by Janine Driver, and the book is called You Say More Than You Think You Say. Janine Driver was a psychological profiler for the FBI. She studied physiology, body language, and she was a human lie detector. So that book helps you to really understand, how are you holding yourself? What does your posture say, and what does your energy say about how you conduct yourself physically? So first off, I want you guys to analyze your body language and your physiology over the course of the next 30 days. Second part of this, I want you to start analyzing your verbal communication. I hear a lot of this. Well, Tom, hey, Tom, just checking in, wanted to follow up, just touching bases. All of those are weak. It's weak ways for us to ask for the next step. We're not going to get to the part of the funnel where we truly want to go, which is to the next step in the sales cycle. Well, let me know, Tom. Have you seen anything? Would you like for me to set you up on a search? Puke. No, I don't want you to set me up on that. Sounds horrible. So what I want us to do is I want us to check our language. Is our language timid? Is our language soft? And is our language authoritative? You see, I'm not telling you to be manipulative. What I want you to do is I want you to analyze the words that you're saying. I see this so much. Let me know, Tom. Well, if you set somebody up in your database, you should have an ability to see what they're looking at on a daily basis. And instead of saying, hey, Tom, have you seen any homes that you'd like to go see? Why don't you just look at the consumer behavior? The consumer behavior and the analytics tells you exactly what they're looking at. Respond accordingly to consumer behavior. Hey, Joe, I noticed that you were just looking at 123 Main Street. I'm setting up my tours for today and tomorrow. What time you want to go take a peek? And that's it. You see, what we do is we try to sissy-foot around it. We try to not get right to the point. And what's happening is that you see conversion going down. So I want you to analyze, A, how you're asking for things, and B, what you are actually writing. It's in our communication. It's in the words that we use, just checking in, just following up, just touching bases. I hear all these tentative words. What we need to do is we need to be strong in our words, in our communication. And the goal is to always move the client down the funnel. right? Here's what we're going to do next. I found some information, thought it applied to you. Here's what we should do next, right? Stop asking for permission. And I say this with all due respect. Consumers need someone to lead them. You are a doctor. You see, if you ask the right questions, then what we're going to do is we're going to find out the biggest challenges. And then what do? We prescribe. We prescribe based on what the consumer's challenges are. So I had those thoughts today, so I didn't want to miss that messaging. Does that make sense for everybody? I want you guys to just analyze your sales communication from the physiology, the nonverbal, from the verbal, and then to the written. And I promise you, when you start looking at these things, you're like, man, I see it in the language right there. If you have a team, go into their database and say, all right, let's pull up your last 30 emails that you sent, last text messages that you sent. And what you'll see is you'll start to see language that is very soft and very timid. Let's restore the dignity of being great salespeople. Great salespeople are able to be leaders, teachers, and set the stage for the next part of the sales process. And I believe this with certainty and conviction, so I wanted to share that with you. Before we go any further, does anybody have any thoughts, questions, insights, or dialogue just on that vein? Feel free to take yourself off of mute, raise your hand. I would love to hear from you guys before we go any further. Going once, going twice, and don't be shy. Oh,
Elias,
yes, Elisa, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you. I think
Good to
for
see you,
me,
my friend.
likewise, thank you. For me, what stood out that I don't pay attention to as much, but I did notice how I showed up this weekend during a consultation is what you shared in what we write. I feel confident in body language in the words I speak, yet I've noticed that if I went back, I don't know, 3 years ago, a little bit of that passion in what I'm writing and the questions that I'm asking had shifted. And in sitting in a lot of the trainings with you all, with fast forward movement and this training here, and just being intentional and purposeful about serving the people. So thank you.
Yeah, you guys, people need to be led, right?
Mhm.
And they need to feel that you are the doctor. When someone comes into the doctor's office, okay, come on in, stand on that scale. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and check your vitals. I'm going to get your blood pressure. Perfect. Wonderful. I am trying to diagnose you and get your vitals so I can make a prescription and make a diagnosis. And it's the same thing for us. And so I want you guys to stop dancing around it. Always go for the appointment and then work backwards. If they give you a no, they give you rejection. Sorry, I don't know what that was. If they give you rejection or they give you pushback, then you guys are skilled enough to know where to go next. Tell me a little bit more. How did you come to that decision? What are the biggest challenges that you're facing in the market right now? Can I offer you a different perspective, Mr. Jones? Wonderful. You're skilled enough. But what we do is we dance around us just getting to a face-to-face or a Zoom to Zoom, and then we're playing catch up. So I just want you guys to go in and ask for the appointment first and then work backwards. Joe, you had a hand up, and then we're going to shift gears in the conversation.
Yeah, I was just going to say something you brought up reminded me of Phil Jones, who wrote Exactly What to Say. He talks a lot about yeah, there you go. If a doctor issues a prescription without a diagnosis, it's technically malpractice. And then for us in the real estate space, we're always just telling people solutions to problems we're guessing they have without ever really talking to them about what their issues really are. And it goes back, like you said, about a question asking. Like in order for us to issue a prescription to solve or advance their life, we have to properly diagnose whatever's going on. And if we don't do that, they're going to pick up on it super quick. Like if you walk into a doctor's office and they're like, hey, I'm going to prescribe you all these meds. And you're like, whoa, hold on a second. We haven't done any tests. We haven't talked about what's going on. It would be red flags in a doctor's office. But for some reason, we think we could do it in real estate, which is crazy.
Yeah. So you guys, this is sales 101, right? If you don't have this book, recommend that you get this book, highlight it, have it kind of like as in your back pocket, and just be able to be fluid with how you're moving people here. I'm auditing every single conversation that I'm about to make in my database, and I'm not calling to check in. I'm not following up, and I'm not touching bases. And I want to encourage you one more thing before we shift gears in the conversation. If you're going to sit down and do an hour, let's say your hour of power, hour of prospecting, it's on your calendar. what I want to encourage you to do is start to do the 4-to-1 ratio. What I mean by that is that you call, you text, you email, and you video, and it's the same message each time. They didn't pick up the phone, you send them a message. Hey Joe, I noticed that you looked at 123 Main Street. I'm setting up my VIP tours for today and tomorrow. What time do you want to go take a peek? That same message goes into an email. Subject line, 123 Main Street, house with the pool. Hi, Joe. I noticed that you just looked at this property. Insert the link. I'm setting up my VIP tours for today and tomorrow. What time you want to go take a peek at that property? And then be quiet. And then lastly is a video. Same exact thing. Hey, Joe, just following up. I sent you a couple messages. I'm setting up my VIP tours for tomorrow. I noticed that you were looking at a couple houses in Berkeley. Let's go take a look. What time works best for you? It's the same message. So if you're doing 20 calls, you have 80 touch points in just the day. I like those odds for you. And if you stack those wins up over the month, over the quarter, and over the year, you've put yourself in the best position to win and have the most amounts of conversations because you diversified during that hour of power. For you to call 20 people in an hour, that could be pretty quick. Chances are you get 3 people on the call. And if you're a really good closer, maybe you'll close one of them. Maybe you'll close none of them. But they got your email, they got your text, and they also got your video. Does it make sense, you guys? 4-to-1 ratio, 4-to-1 ratio. Simple formula, but I promise you it will work if done effectively and done consistently. So I'm going to take you guys through some framework I call flow state. And the reason I named this flow state is because somebody came up to me 2 months ago, and her name is Blessing. And she's just an amazing person. She's one of our agents in our environment. And she came up to me. She said, Coach, I said, what's up, Blessing? She said, your joy is showing. I said, my joy is showing. She's like, yeah. She's like, you just feel super happy when I'm around you. And she's like, it feels like you're in this flow. And I was like, I thought about it. I'm like, she's experiencing what I feel, right? The external world is a reflection of how we feel inside. And I thought about that and I put it into a presentation because if you feel abundant, if you feel grateful, then the external world is going to answer you with abundance and gratitude. But if you feel small, if you feel like you have to shrink in every single room that you walk into, that energy and that frequency that you're on is going to be small and it's going to shrink in every single room that you walk into. You see, people can feel when there's congruency. People can feel when you're aligned, but also people can feel when things are contrived and you are white knuckling through this business. So I aptly named my conversation today Flow State, and I wanted to come up with really, really cool slides to make this fun and represent what I call flow state. So I'm going to take you through some framework and feel free at the end to ask any questions, but this is where what I call where alignment meets acceleration, and this is aptly named flow state. Flow state. So purpose, power, clarity. When your purpose is loud, your distractions get very, very quiet. You see, you cannot enter flow without direction, period. Clarity is the gate. You see, this takes a little bit of work. And Lisa, can we mute Lisa? I'm just getting a little bit of feedback on her end, please, and thank you. You see, oftentimes when you're thinking about why you're in this business, what you're doing, people call it the great why or the compelling why, whatever it is. I just want you to go very, very deep on this. When you think about your cause, your mission, your crusade, your purpose, and what gets you up every single day in this business, that should fill you up with emotion. That should fill you up with emotion. You should be able to close your eyes, look at your life in 5 years from now and say, things are going to be really, really good, right? Are the actions of today, if I continue to do the actions of today, how does my life look in 5 years from now? And if it excites you and if it's in alignment, then wonderful. But if it doesn't excite you and it scares you and you would be forced to be in another industry, then it's time to wake up. See, I got clear about what I wanted, who I wanted to become, and how I wanted to serve this industry. And that takes some time for you to reflect and write and sit in stillness and sit in your Zen den or whatever you have to get very, very clear on where you're going. When you find that clarity, your to-do list gets lighter, your decisions get faster, and your distractions lose power. And like I said, no more white knuckling. My friends, my hope is that you are not here for motivation. I'm not here for motivation. Raquel's not here for motivation. And none of the other leaders are here for motivation. You see, you don't need motivation when you're aligned. You need a vision that demands your discipline. When you think about the vision that you have for your life, your cause, and your crusade, does it demand your discipline? You shouldn't have anybody having to call you to get you up, to do the thing, to hold you accountable. Those people that are in your life are there to support you on the journey to where you are already heading. You see, Raquel's my coach, but I certainly do not need her to create my compelling why. I have a vision so strong that it demands my discipline. So I want the same for you. A really good book for you guys to really dive into this is a book called 10X is Easier Than 2X. Has nothing to do with Grant Cardone. It's a powerful book for you to really, really dive deep into your purpose, to really dive deep into your vision, and to get very, very clear on what that looks like and what it feels like. So I highly recommend that you buy that book. Systematized execution, discipline that creates the condition for your flow. Here's the paradox, my friends. A lot of time people think that when they have freedom, they don't have structure, but the real business or the real freedom in business comes from the systems. You see, I learned this a long time ago, and I thought it was really powerful. My friend said the systems run the business, but the humans run the systems. You see, oftentimes I talk to agents from across this country, and the one challenge that I hear them say is, I need to work on my systems. Okay. The moment that I hear that, here's my follow up to that. We've identified a challenge, which is the system or lack thereof. So if they say, I need to work on my systems, I say, okay, heard, we've identified the challenge. But most importantly, and this is the question that you need to ask yourself, by when? By when? If you know that your systems challenge, whether it's your CRM, your calendar, your marketing, your training, your onboarding, whatever it is, and if you've identified it and you've articulated it and you've declared that you have a challenge with a system, stop saying it over and over again. The best question to ask yourself is by when? By when? And you put it on your calendar and you start working backwards and you fix the things that you know are an operational efficiency that support the big picture of your business. Too many times I have agents say, oh yeah, I need to work on my systems. I could let that go, or I could say, okay, we've identified a challenge. Now, what in the F are you going to do about it? And by when? By when? Systems is what run our business and the humans run the systems. See, for me, my friends, I build an operating system in my business that allows me to create, to connect with people like you, to breathe, to slow down. You see, I'm not guessing what comes next. I'm executing based on a rhythm that I built. Discipline creates the conditions for flow. You see, all the time I talk to agents and they have this belief of time management. And no matter what you've heard, I have my opinion on that. I personally want you to dismantle that belief of time management. If you're looking for time management and you're looking for balance in this business, it is fleeting. But what you can find and what you will find is you will find a rhythm. You see, everything comes down to two simple things. It comes down to a choice management and it comes down to an energy management. When I think about my schedule, when I think about my endeavors, when I think about the things that I need to do that are going to move my life and business forward, it breaks down like this. I'm going to choose all the things. I'm going to consciously make the decisions that are going to go onto my calendar. And then I get to choose the energy that is associated with every single endeavor. Because here's a survey for you. How many of you in the last 5 years have felt that you were burnt out? Just throw a hand up like this or give me any type of emoji on the screen. Okay. I respect you. I love you. And thank you for being transparent. You see, if you know me and you spend any time around me, I have more energy than most. We've built a crazy, crazy organization from 10 agents to the point where we got to almost 400 agents. Also built a coaching company. I also have a whole bunch of kids and I have one on the way and a wife and all these things. But the one thing that I have not experienced yet, my friends, is burnout. And nothing that even resembles burnout. Have I been stressed? Yes. Is there days where I'm tired? Yes, of course. I just go to sleep earlier. But I haven't been burnt out because I choose everything that's going to go on my calendar. And then I choose the energy that is associated with every single endeavor. And you see, my friends, that is a conscious effort. You see, what we don't do enough of is we don't allow ourselves to choose the energy that is needed for all of these endeavors, right? We blend and everyone gets to take a little bit of the energy. Oh, I got to make calls. I got to do this. Oh my God, I'm on social. And so your energy is scattered. And then what happens is you burn out. you burn out because you didn't protect the one thing that is most precious. It is your energy. You see, I temper it. So I know exactly the energy that is needed for this call. I could then release, I could reflect, and I could re-engage in the next endeavor because they all require a different sense of energy from me. And so if you can protect it, and you could protect it like a precious vault, not everybody gets to steal it. And by the way, my friends, stop allowing everybody to walk on your boundaries. Stop allowing that because people will take, people will take, people will take. And guess what happens? You suffer. You see, we're not in this business to build something at the sacrifice of self. And I see it time and time again. I'll drop everything for those clients. I'm that person for my family. I'll be there in an instant if my family, my mother, my aunt, whoever calls. But who suffers? We suffer. We don't eat healthy. We don't go to the gym. We don't track our sleep. We don't move our asses. And we wonder why we're burnt out. Do not, and I say this from a place of love, do not build an empire at the sacrifice of self. Does that make sense, you guys? Let's go back into energy integrity. Your energy introduces yourself before your business ever does and before your words ever do. Let's be real. Your energy introduces your business before your words. If you are tired, if you are scattered, if you are bitter, it shows up in your sales leadership, in your leadership, in your sales, and in your marketing. You ever seen this agent? And no shade if you're on this call. This agent, they have an open house Saturday, 12 to 2 o'clock. They are frantically running around at 11:15. They're putting their regular shoes on because they don't want to mess up their work shoes. And they're trying to put their signs out and they're running around frantic. And then they pull up to the open house and it's literally 11:59. They're a little sweaty. They're trying to calm down. They open up the trunk. They have nothing but papers and flyers and stuff. And they're getting to the open house and they open up the door and then a car pulls in the driveway and they say, "Come on in. I'm just setting up." That's the type of energy I see. That's the energy that people are going to feel. And so if you're tired, if you're scattered, it's going to show up. And so when you're in flow, that means you're managing your energy like a portfolio. You invest in it in the right places. You don't overspend on nonsense. Energy management is business strategy. You see, this vessel, this is so important. If I have to say no, I'm okay with saying no. But the things that I say yes to, I am conscious of that. And it's reflected on my calendar, so I get to choose the energy that is needed. Let's talk about creative magnetism. When you stop forcing it, your creativity starts flowing through you. When you're in flow, creativity isn't forced, it's fluid. Like I said before about white knuckling through things. You see, the best content, the best campaigns, the best conversations, they simply start showing up. You see, each of you, not to get a bit too kumbaya on you, each of you have a frequency. And when you're in a sense of flow, aligned with a purpose, aligned with a cause and a crusade, and you feel it and you're a walking embodiment of that, that type of things people can feel. They can feel that frequency. They can feel that vibration. And when you're in flow, you're not forcing your content, right? Okay, let me just do another snore fest video about contingencies that everyone else and their mother has already done. No, I'm going to talk about who I am, where I'm at, things that I'm doing, things that light me up, have some fun. And yes, I'll give you my opinions on where I see the real estate market. But I don't care if everybody doesn't like my stuff. 30% of people are actually going to vibe with you. The other 70%, they probably don't like you, and that's okay. Create content that speaks from your flow, not trying to conform to everybody else. We don't chase validation. You're just telling your truth and you're telling it your way. People can tell when you are operating and creating from center and you're operating it from ego. See, people can see that. I see that from a mile away. No one cares about the new bag and the new belt and the new car. It's all good and well, you guys. But at the end of the day, are we talking about the consumer's journey? Are we talking about what it meant to the Andersons to finally purchase their first house and what it meant to their family to create a legacy for their children? You'll feel it when you're operating from ego versus flow. And let's talk about impact in this coming full circle. I want to share this with you. Now, I'm not here to gloat. I'm not here to be braggadocious in any way, but I want to share with you what's possible when you create a sense of being in flow. You see, our team, last year, and we're still waiting for Real Trends reports. Those come out now. And if you haven't submitted your numbers for Real Trends, please make sure to do that. The registration closes, I think, March 20th, opened up January 12th. But last year, you guys, we were able to rank in the top in the United States, number 25, and the top of in our state in California. And at our particular brokerage, you guys, there is over 85,000 people at this company. When we came to our company, there was 15,000 people here. And every single year, the talent's got better. More teams have come to our organization. It's grown tremendously over the years. And we've always been a perennial top 3 company. I'm a kid that came from the streets, didn't have much, came from a very tough upbringing. And to say that I'm the sales leader for one of the top brokerages in the United States of America that's closed billions and billions of dollars worth of real estate, it means the world for me. It means the world to me to be able to even say that. And I'm humbled by it, but I'm hungry, right? I'm hungry. I still got dog in me. I've been in my position now for 6 years, but I've been in a similar position now for the last 10. And I've been in mine for 6 years, and I still have that dog because I'm still aligned with the big vision of us creating a movement in real estate. So I want to share this with you as we start to wrap up our session. I'd love to get some answers or questions answered from you guys, but I want to share this with you. Oftentimes, when we talk about our why, oftentimes what we do is we go right to our family. You see, this is my family. Top right is Larissa. Kai is top left. She was born 1 pound. You got to imagine a little baby born that was 1 pound. She could literally fit in the palm of my wife's hand. And now she's going to be 15 in 1 week. Little sassy TikTok loving girl that gives the worst hugs, but that's neither here nor there. She's a little miracle baby. Bottom left is Lily. She lives most of the time with her mother out in Alaska, and that's a whole nother story, and we'll save that one. Little dude is Silas, and he's 7, and then that's my wife, and she is 5 months pregnant now. Now you would look at this amazing, beautiful family and be like, okay, that's probably his why, but it's not. Now I love these people on the screen, but these people haven't always been in my life. And I share this with you to give you some perspective. Oftentimes, when people are saying, it's your why, this is my why, it's my family, it's my children, it's my wife, it's my husband. Really? Well, then why do you have excuses? Why do you have inaction? Why aren't you consistent if these people are so important to you? Now, don't get it twisted. These people are a catalyst for my growth, and I'll do anything for them. But my why, I had to go far back, you guys. Oftentimes, we look outward and we look around what we have now and we say, okay, there's the answers. Oftentimes, for me, what I had to do is I had to go far back. I had to go far back. And I went all the way back, you guys, to 1992. You see, 1992, I was 12 years old. We lost our house. My mom was addicted to meth at that time. We got kicked out of our house. We got evicted. We lived in hotels and motels, garage floors, wherever we could just to get by. And I remember the feeling of not having stability. I remember the feeling of being a 12, 13-year-old boy going to school from one hotel and coming home, going to that same hotel, and mom's nowhere to be found. I remember the feeling of riding the bus with my mom and her putting all of our dirty clothes in pillowcases and going to the local laundromat within inside of my town to do laundry. And I remember that feeling of inadequacy, of not having stability. And when I think about my why now at 46 years old, right? And to think how deep rooted that is, that's 1992. That's my why. My why is to never have to feel like that, to never have to experience those feelings of not having anything, the basic necessities. So I'm stability driven. I'm not success driven. I'm stability driven. But my family obviously supports me and they're a catalyst for my growth, but that's not the underlying why. You see, when you could find that purpose, and you're congruent with whatever that is for you, my friends, you will have run through the wall energy. Run through the wall energy. Now, yes, my family is impacted by the result of the hard work. They are impacted by the result of my success, but they are not the why of why I actually am in this game. When you could find that, you have run through the wall energy. Nothing stops me. Nothing. And listen, I've been here for a long time, since 2009, and I've seen every season, every challenge, COVID, interest rates, NAR settlement. But no matter what, I've always found a way to grow and to win at the highest level. And you guys, that's because I'm so deep rooted with where I'm going and why I'm going there. Now I'm gonna pause for a second. I'm gonna read this to you. Raquel and I did a business planning a couple weeks ago in Arizona, and I thought it was really powerful, and I wanted to just share this with you guys before we do any Q&A. It says here that your greatest gift is yourself. And I really want this to land for you guys because I believe this and I love you all and I appreciate you being here. It is not your brand, it is not your business, and it's certainly not your bank account, my friends. It's you. It's the way that you think, it's the way that you show up when no one's watching, it's the habits you build, it's the mindset you strengthen, it's the healing that you choose to do even when it hurts, even when it hurts. Everything you want starts with who you are becoming. So invest in yourself, my friends. Study yourself, challenge yourself, build discipline, build character, build peace. The better you get, the better everything around you becomes. The external world is a reflection of how we feel internally. You are the foundation, you are the project, and my friends, you are the masterpiece in progress. That's what I have for you guys. I wanted to share that with you. I try to find a picture that made me look cool and look studious. If you want to follow me, I'd love to be able to be in your world and follow your journey as well. But I want to pause for a second. And my hope is that that message lands for everybody on the call and that everybody that will see this recording. I'm an open book, you guys. If anybody has any questions, thoughts, contributions, insights, I'm all ears. I'm here for that conversation. Coach?
Elias, great job. Great message to start our week. Anyone have any questions? Please drop them in the chat or unmute. I think Danielle has her hand raised. Or Janelle. Sorry. Or maybe, oh, she unraised it. Okay. You did such a great job that no one has any questions. And I just love that you continue to pour into lots of different communities. You bring the energy all the time. And for next week, Joe or Amy, who do we have next week? And I want to give a shout out to all the builders as well.
I'll go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, so you'll notice a lot of the people on this Zoom will have a special little background. That is our United Builders. So people in, I think, 25 different communities across North America who've committed to build their world and are working with myself and Raquel and Amy to get it done. So shout out to our builders. We see you. We appreciate you. We've got some big stuff in the works. For next week, we have none other than Benjamin Kenny. It's going to be awesome. So Ben Kenny's our speaker next week. We did a smaller session last year, one of our leadership sessions with Ben, and it was like jaws to the floor for everyone. And so next week will be exactly the same. He's going to absolutely kill it. So Ben Kenny is going to be our RocketFuel speaker next week. We're stoked.
Wow, how cool.
Yeah, he's great.
Industry icon.
Yeah, for sure.
Next to Elias, of course.
We're all builders. We're all builders.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, I think we should unmute ourselves and let's get some takeaways or some feedback from today. Yeah, the gratitude's been coming in for sure, but what's your top takeaway, or what are you gonna how is this going to impact your day-to-day for the week to come?
Well, and thinking about that, Aim, my favorite, you guys know I'm a movie guy. The Lorax is a great movie, and the big word from the Lorax is unless. Unless I do this. And so I thought there's a million unlesses for us in Elias's talk, which is man, unless I change this one thing, or unless I implement this one thing. So I'd love to hear what some of those unlesses were for you guys.
Use your past for your present and future, and don't shy away from it for your why. Like that. Your next Randy's next tattoo idea.
All right, let's do this. I'm going to make it easier for you guys. I'm going to go to Julie, and I'm going to get Julie. Let's get a contribution from you, and then I'm going to go to Gabby. So, Julie, give me one key thought, one key takeaway from our time together today. Let's go, Julia. Pixley. Sorry, I said Julie. Julia.
If you're family, you call me Julie, but
Julia.
Real name. No, I like taking control of the transaction. We are the experts and we need to prove that. And there's plenty of people out there, honestly, in our industry that don't know what they're doing. So I'm wholeheartedly all for it.
Well, I appreciate you, Miss Julia. Let's go to Gabby. Gabby, give me one key thought, one key takeaway from our time together today. Let's go, my friend.
Oh, well, I just have to say that I love that there was no social media aspect to this at all. It was all mindset. But my key takeaway was probably look at the consumer behavior before you make the call. It's such an easy call. I love the don't, I'm just calling to check up. I'm just following up. I hate that as well. So I love that because it gives you a reason to actually call.
That's right. And listen, there's many tools out there, whether it's Real Scout, Ylopo, things that when you set up a consumer for their search and their criteria in your database, you should be able to look at that recent activity, and that's how you communicate. So the idea of people saying, "Oh, I don't like cold calls," well, then don't. It's a warm call if you can see the consumer analytics. And so I appreciate that and the sentiment about social media. I could tell you how to build on social media. That's not why I was here. I love social media, but I'm glad that we didn't have that conversation either. So, Coach, back to you, my friend. Any parting words from you?
No, I think it was awesome. I want everyone to have an amazing week. We got to finish really early, and I appreciate you as always for lighting up our rocket fuel this Monday morning.
Awesome. See you guys next
Cool.
Monday.